This is Money Talks with KD, where we discuss all things money, whether it be your side hustle, your main hustle, you know what I'm saying, your business, your 9 to 5, even your minimum wage jobs, man. We got it all here at this channel. So if you're looking for any opportunity to increase your wealth, increase that bag, it starts here, baby. Make sure you guys like the channel, comment, and subscribe. Today, we got a career that, as far as America's concerned, supposed to be, pretty lucrative. It can get you to the next level. If you're looking to invest, if you're looking to really make a little chunk of change, in this here US. We've always wondered, what does it take? What do I have to do to ride in that red truck? I want to slide down the pole. No pun intended to the strippers. Oh, and we might be, you know what? That's another story for another day. But what do I have to do to slide down that pole? What do I got to do to save lives? Put out the fires. Is the training rigorous? What does it take? Well, I think we got some of the answers. Oh. And of course, last but not least, how much are we making? How lucrative is it? How much can I make? What's the cap out? What's the ceiling? Make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Here we go. Let's get into it. So we got the first episode of Money Talks. I'm here with my boy, Jordan. Jordan, let them know a little bit about yourself before we start off. Where you come from, how'd you get into this profession? Let them know what it is you're doing.
Okay. My name is Jordan. I'm 31 years old from Bellflower, California. Right here in this same house right here in Bellflower. Pretty much grew up here. So what I do for a living, I'm a firefighter / paramedic. I work for the LA County Fire Department. I previously worked for Compton Fire Department, and that's my current occupation right now. Been doing it for about 10 years now, almost.
Been doing it for about 10 years. What initially got you started in wanting to be a fireman? Like, was this always a goal of yours, or did you pick this up later on down the line?
Nah, so initially, like all of us inner city kids, and we played sports, relied on sports. That was my goal. My brother played NFL football, D1 football, wanted to follow in his footsteps. I ended up getting a scholarship to a NAIA school in West Virginia, and that didn't work out. And this happened to always be my backup plan. I try to basically leave NAIA football to come back home to go the JUCO route, and had to sign up for my classes. Ended up taking a fire science course just on some elective stuff. And then once I took that class, it changed me forever. For whatever reason, it stuck to me. I wanted to do this. I was immersed in it, and it took off from there. Yeah.
Okay. So with you getting started, so that was initially a backup plan. How long did it take from you to get to point A to point B, from, the start of you starting your fireman journey to you becoming an actual fireman? What was that process like?
The process, so the timeline when I started was 18 years old. I came back from college. And then I got hired at 23. So that's a total of 5 years it took me. Does it take everybody else that long? No, it does not. It can be shorter, longer, but just that was my length.
Not to cut you off,
yeah.
What does that depend on? If, like it said, it took you 5 years, how does one get to that destination in a shorter time frame?
In a shorter time frame, it also depends on luck. So you got to understand, at that time period back in 2000, 18 and 20 and 20, whatever it was at the time, departments weren't hiring, versus right now, departments are like a hiring frenzy. They're looking for people. So it just depends. So that number can change depending on that, as far as your luck when you start your process. And also depends on the work ethic and the legwork you put in. So, I felt like it was fast for me because I was at mom's house. I had no bills. I had no kids, wasn't married. And I was able to do everything I needed to do without any stress.
Okay.
So versus a kid that maybe starts now at 18, he has no stress, versus a guy that's 40 years old that has a family to take care of, it may vary.
Got it. Now, when you say leg work, what do you mean by leg work? What do you have to do to get in there?
Okay.
How strenuous is it?
Yeah, it's very strenuous, or it can be easy. Depends on the department as well. That's a different topic for a different conversation, for a different video maybe. But generically, what I did, I went through the steps of it. I was an explorer at 18 years old, which is basically an adolescence youth program that's at the firehouse. You learn the ins and outs of to be a fireman in the station, outside of the station. I became an EMT, emergency medical technician, which is the basic requirement here in California to become a fireman, because 85% of our calls are medical calls. I did that for a total of, let's say, 2.5, 3 years, almost 4 years. And then in the time of doing that, I was in school. I got my fire science degree. I went to a fire academy, a basic academy, which gives you all the tools you need to be on a fire engine and do what firemen do without being paid. Throughout that process, I was an ambulance operator, which is an EMT inside of Compton Fire Department, and then later on got hired with Compton. So that's my 5 years.
So that's the leg work. Would you say people have a chance of getting in any fire department without putting in that type of thing? Like, if they just do the bare minimum, pretty much the requirements, do they have a chance, a real shot at getting in?
That's actually a good question, a really good question. So it depends on the department who's applying, or who's putting an application out or a hiring process out. So 2 departments I've worked for: Compton Fire Department, small municipal fire department with 4 stations, limited resources. They can't really afford to hire a guy with no history, no background, no prior experience, because that causes more money for them to train that person. Versus now with LA County Fire Department with 3,000 personnel, and they have the means, the resources, the money, the funds to train a person that just worked at Starbucks, which is not uncommon for LA County Fire Department. LA County Fire Department, all you need to have is a GED or high school diploma, 18 years of age, and a driver's license, and you may be hired, which could happen. So it just depends on what department is hiring.
So you heard that, guys. It all depends on timing, work ethic, as well as luck, a little bit of luck. Okay, so the people want to know initially, when you get in there, you become a fireman, you get sworn in. What's that first year like? What's the revenue like that first year? What's the money like that first year? And what all does that depend on? Because that's why we're here, baby.
We're here for the money. We're gonna speak candidly now. Be real. Like, we come from the same places, and this is what needs to be heard, and this is what motivated myself.
Exactly.
So the first year is very grueling, hard, stressful, especially as a new fireman. Again, we're talking about 2 different departments, 2 different situations, which, again, we can elaborate on. Compton, I was a new guy, completely new, green, we call it in the service, completely green. It was extremely hard for me. They were extremely hard on me, physically, mentally, and financially. So as far as the first year is hard, you have to prove yourself. You can't be fired at any time. You're an at-will employee. As far as the revenue and money, first year in that department, overtime was a privilege.
Overtime was a privilege.
So
is it not a privilege at every station?
No. So LA County Fire Department, they actually ask you to work overtime. They're forcing money down your pocket.
Got it. Gotcha.
You understand? So, and if we're clear, and whoever's on the other side of this camera, or whoever's watching, that's how firemen make their money. Make no mistake. They make money. We make money because of the overtime we work.
Got it.
You should act the schedule.
There it is. That's that next question I'm getting to, because you said overtime is a key factor, and that's how most firemen make their money. As far as overtime goes, how much work are you actually doing during overtime, or just as a fireman in general? Because it's been missed that sometimes it's maybe 4 days on, 5 days off, or I don't know. So Can you break down to people the schedule?
Yeah, okay. So the schedule is every fireman works a 24-hour shift. Some departments may do 2 days on or 4 days off, but you're a minimum of 24 hours away. You essentially live in the fire station. There's kitchens, there's bedrooms, there's day rooms that have, relaxed time and TVs, and there's the whole shebang where you basically live there at least 24 hours. Now, we get paid hourly like any other job. And you imagine, like another job, you may get 2 hours of overtime this week or 10 hours of overtime this week. Myself and many other firemen, we get overtime that's 24 hours at a time.
Wow.
At a time. So that's where your money accumulates.
So you can see how that really accumulates.
Yeah. Okay. So how my department works, we do 24 hours on, 24 hour off, 24 on, 2 off, 24 on, 1 off, 1 back on, and then 4 days off, which is very convoluted and confusing. But essentially, we're doing 1 day on, 1 day off.
When you're on call and you're working, how often are you guys getting called out?
Great question. So Again, 2 experiences of myself coming from Compton Fire Department for 10 years being there. It's only, we all know if you're from this side of the Mississippi, you know about the Compton. The world knows about Compton.
They know about Compton.
So it's a very busy.
Shout out to the hub.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out. That's home. It's definitely a busy, high volume, strenuous city that's tough. We're getting, what we do, I should say, is firemen don't just put out fires. We attend to medical calls, stomach aches, heart attacks, shootings, stabbings, car accidents, structure fires, all that and above that encompasses that. But in Compton, it was the volume of that was higher.
Got it.
LA County can stretch from Malibu, Palos Verdes to Watts to
some of the nicer areas.
Parts of Compton to Lancaster. It depends on where you are in this department. You can go 2 weeks at work and not get a call. Myself, I work in Inglewood, which is quite busy. It's very conducive and similar to Compton. So it just depends on where you're at.
Just depends on where you're at. Now, as far as them overtime hours, would you say it's around the same? How much time are you chilling to working? Because a lot of people, they love the idea of the schedule and being able to kind of chill and get that rest while still be able to bring home 6+ figures.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that
Sure.
overtime work?
Sure. So overtime work, or let's just keep it simple. At work.
At work.
Overtime
Same
at work
thing.
is the same thing. You're going to do the same amount of work.
Gotcha.
You mentioned probation. We mentioned probation. That first year, there is no sitting down. You're proving yourself. There's no sitting down. You're not hanging with the guys. You're essentially not a part of the crew. You're proving yourself. You're giving drills or classes, teaching about certain equipment, certain operations, tactics, that whole entire year. Once you've proven yourself, you're still a young fireman, and you have the right to sit down with what you call blue chair time, where when it's downtime, everybody's chilling. They've done their checkout, their cleanup, their projects for the day. Everybody sits down, it builds a little camaraderie, watch movies, we pop popcorn or have the family over. So it just depends on where you're at and the situation you're in. New fireman, you're not doing any of that.
Okay.
Off probation, and young fireman, you may be doing a little bit. Seasoned guy, engineer with rank, captain, kind of more chill time, but more responsibility. That makes sense? It's kind of a ratio.
Definitely.
You're not just sitting on your butt though, not doing nothing though. That's
not okay.
Yeah.
So people, if you thinking, it's a breeze in the park for wherever you. I mean, depending on what he just said, if you're in a slow department, you might be chilling. There might be days. What are some of the things that you actually have to do physically, and what type of shape do you have to be in order to become a fireman?
Type of physical shape you need to be in. You need to be in decent shape. Do you need to be an Ironman triathlete? No, it'd help, of course, but do you need to be that? No, but you definitely can't be a bump on a log and not be able to pull your own weight. That's just not a part of our job. It's very, 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 very physically demanding. Anybody that's watching this video that's a fireman and been on the fire ground knows that it's very taxing and it's hard on the body. So even getting through the process and staying, throughout the process of your career of 30 years, it's going to be something that you need to keep up with your physical health.
Let me ask you this. As far as first year take home, what could somebody after that first year probation year be looking to take home after a year, after taxes? After taxes, what would you say?
So that taxes thing is another thing that varies. I was a young fireman with I wasn't married, no home, no kids, so taxes vary.
Okay.
Probably won't get into that too much, but so it depends again on the department.
Okay.
Let's say Compton. Compton is a poverty-stricken department, city. Not very much into contractual agreements with the fire department, so their pay may be a little bit lower than some departments. Let's do an example. Compton versus Beverly Hills. Compton has no attractions, nothing that generates revenue for the department.
Gotcha.
Versus, we all know Beverly Hills has their own municipal fire department. They generate a lot of revenue. You may have a starting salary of $100,000 for a new just coming in.
Wow. Okay.
Without all your steps and incentives.
Yeah. Wow.
So Compton may be 70,000, 60,000. Who knows? Depends. So
still good. Still good. Okay. And last question: you as a seasoned vet, if we're not getting too personal, how much would you expect somebody to make now? How many years are you in the game?
Working on year 9.
So you're going on year 9. After those first initial years, what can a fireman expect to be taking home yearly, in your honest opinion, with the overtime, with everything they're doing, that 24-hour OT, what is a good number you can expect for a fireman to be taking home? And you smiling. I see you smiling for a reason.
It's kind of an uncomfortable question because I'm here, my mother's house. You know, I don't get too personal. My mom doesn't even know how much I make, and it's a more of a humbling thing because we don't really come from money. Not that I'm rich.
A range. Maybe a range. You don't have to. You don't have to give your number.
I say this. There's no fireman that's in a reputable department that doesn't make. That makes less than six figures. And when I say six figures, it could be...
Yeah, because what we talking when we talk six figures?
We talking six figures. You got a young guy that probably making $100,000. You got guys that I know that are making $300,000 in Compton that work every single day.
Every single day. But that overtime.
The overtime.
So every single day.
You got 300,000 guys. You got guys that are making... captains that are making $400,000. You got captains that are making $200,000. It just depends on your work ethic and what you're willing to go out and go get and how you set yourself up. So...
Hey, straight from the horse's mouth, baby. Money talks. We're going to go ahead and end it there. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, man.
No problem.
Hey, it's lovely. And if you got anything out there for the people, any motivating words, what you want to end off on? It's on you.
Just on some, motivating stuff, like you said, man. This is not something that is not impossible to do, to achieve. We actually need more people of color and minority. And even if you don't have that, different genders, to embark on this fire service gig and passion and career. If you do choose to do this, just continue to stay humble, be persistent, and don't give up on this dream because it's very rewarding. I can say that. We're talking money talks is very rewarding.
There you have it, man. There you have it. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth. This job is able to, produce anywhere from 100,000 starting off to 150 to 200. He says he knows some guys making $300,000. Of course, you have to put your time in and work up. But hey, with that type of money, you could do a lot of things with. If there's a career you're interested in, man, make sure you hit that comment section and let me know. Maybe I could connect you with Jordan and you could see, how it really is. I'm gonna go in the day of a life of a fireman. We're gonna do a whole little walkthrough where I go with him through his job so you can see what it really takes to be a fireman, what it really takes, the day in and day out process of a fireman. But hopefully you guys liked this video. Hopefully you found it informative, and hopefully you can add this to your arsenal of things that you may want to do to go and get that bag and better yourself. Hey, everybody's not a hustler. Everybody's not into, entrepreneurship. Everybody don't have that in them. So if you a career person and you trying to really, better yourself and your family and make it to that next level, this might be it for you. You don't mind, athletics. You don't mind training. You don't mind getting into it. This might be it for you, man. You into saving lives. You into helping people. This may be the route for you. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully this video helped out. Again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And this is Money Talks with KD. Until next time, baby. Money Talks.